What's up, Wayfinders? Hey, it's Lightning Lane here, Ka-chow, and this is a part 2 of our discussion on D23 with my buddy Jack. We hope you guys enjoyed our conversation in part 1, and now we're going to be walking through all of the Walt Disney World content that was announced at D23 here on this version today. So we hope you guys enjoy. Make sure to also like, share, subscribe wherever you get your podcast from. And without further ado, here's part 2 of our conversation on D23. But now we move into Florida.
Here we go.
So we're going to build our way up, Jack.
Let's do it.
We're going to start with Epcot because Epcot basically got nothing. But that is a point that I want to talk about a little bit. So obviously we got Test Track 3.0, just like a brief mention.
But we knew about that.
Yeah, that was in a song. They talked about that in a song. They had Skylar Austin.
Wait, really?
Yes. And
I did not know that.
Yeah, they had two guys come up
They had a lot of musical numbers
and sing a song about just things I guess they didn't want to talk about. So like they mentioned a lot of the Epcot things in the song because there's just a brief overglancing of it.
Did they talk about the Spaceship Earth? The Spaceship Earth
in the song, yeah, and the same with the Pirates Lounge.
Are you serious?
Yes. So that was a little weird, but Test Track 3.0, obviously we know it's coming in 2025. That was kind of the hard date that was thrown out. Was 2025 when it's going to open back up. Not surprising because it's already down for refurbishment. They're already working.
It went down like 2 months ago.
Yeah, so we knew that. The concept art they kept showing throughout the song, it looks cool. Honestly, I'm really excited about the future of Test Track. I don't know, Jack, how you feel about Test Track, but it's a ride that I think it's got the potential to be a really great anchor ride for Epcot, like a great ride for the park. But I think it just got fumbled a little bit with its last version.
I would agree with that. I do love Test Track, and honestly, I mean, so much about the theming, but like Test Track 2.0 is still at its core the same ride. Like the system wasn't touched at all. Like it's still the same experience you're getting. The theming I think is inferior to the first one, but like the theming is still there. Or like the ride system, yeah, like the system is still there. But like from what I understand about this one, I don't know what this means, but they keep they keep like invoking the name of World of Motion in here.
Yes.
Which, for those who don't know, World of Motion was the original ride that was in the show building for Test Track. So it was like just like every other ride in Epcot. It was a dark ride that went through the history of transportation. And so, from what I understand, Test Track 3 is Test Track, but with some like World of Motion hot sauce.
It's like a fusion. Yeah, it's like a fusion between the two.
Color me curious.
Yes.
Color me even a tinge excited, if you will. I don't know what it means that World of Motion is being brought in here, but I'm curious.
At this point, none of us really know because they have not given out any details. Now, I was wrong because on my prediction episode, I did say we'd get all the details. I was not expecting a song musical number briefly showing me a picture of it. I was not expecting that.
Was it the same concept art that's been in circulation since like 2 years ago?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like them going through the forest?
Yes. Yeah, it's the same picture. Man. Thank you, Disney, for that. I really did appreciate that. You made me look bad.
We have gotten concept art of like what the entrance looks like, and that canopy's gone.
Yes.
For the first time in however long the Test Track's been open.
So, there we go. We got a win. We got a win out of it. But the thing that surprised me was the Spaceship Earth Lounge. Now, I think this is kind of a replacement for the whole building that was supposed to kind of be a lounge area that was in the original Epcot revamp stuff. You know what I'm talking about?
I think I've heard rumblings of this.
Yeah, the building, they were going to put this big building kind of where you could overlook like World Showcase. There's going to be like a festival center.
Wait a minute. Like the big like circle thing?
Yes.
Oh my god.
It was like two stories.
That thing looks sick.
So I think this is kind of their replacement for this. Now, I don't hate the idea of a lounge, especially I love Spaceship Earth. I love to hang out in a Spaceship Earth lounge. This was
especially if you have like the music loop playing in there. And then some like, throwing some Dame Judi Dench in there.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But this was not the Spaceship Earth news I would have hoped to receive. I would have hoped it would have been like, hey, we're going to go in and actually like clean it up a little bit because that ride is in rough shape.
Let me give you a brief Disney historian tangent here. One of my favorite things to look into, really for all of specifically Disney World ride history, is the former versions of Spaceship Earth. What I mean by that specifically is the descent from the top of the ride, basically from the time you come out and see the Earth down. Apparently, when this ride was being built, the scene where you see the Earth, you're on like a moon station.
Yeah.
And all that stuff is still there.
Yes.
Like they have, I mean, it's super dark in there, so you can't see anything. But like they still have the spaceships attached to the wall. They still have like the lady and the astronauts somewhere in there. It's crazy to me. And then on the descent, which like it's pretty brilliant, honestly. Now what they have, like they have those screens that you look at.
Yeah.
So you're not looking around you, but like they still have all the like dioramas in there. They still have all the like cardboard cutouts of like the, you know, like the high school graduates or whatever. They still have all the stuff. And so like the last time when we went back in February, I didn't watch the screen at all. I was just looking around to see if I could spot anything that was still in there. Cause like, people like take flash photos, which, you know, you're not supposed to do that, but like they'll do it. And like all of it's still there, just like covered up by tarps.
I know.
That's so fascinating.
Isn't it crazy? They just leave so many things.
Anyway, sorry. I may have one or two more of those before we're done tonight, but it's just so cool to me.
But the thing about it is this. That ride is in rough shape.
It is.
Like it needs to be touched up. That's why several years ago they announced that it was supposed to be refurbed. And honestly, I think that's one of those things that they got to bring that back up at some point because that ride is falling apart.
Yes.
And
which is a crying shame.
And say what you will about the whole, we don't want this ride to change. Okay, cool, whatever. It's falling apart. Yeah. Would you rather it fall apart or get a refurb and try to maybe hopefully
you gotta touch it up?
Keep it.
That's what it deserves.
Keep the magic of it. Yes, absolutely. Like, how many other of the park icons do you actually get to go inside of and ride a ride in? You know.
Well,
technically,
does
Hollywood
the Chinese
Studios
theater count as the icon. Right now?
But that's the thing. We don't know what Hollywood Studios is. It's either Tower of Terror or. But this was the first of the icons, really, that you could ride right inside of. Like,
and it is one of the last remaining pieces of OG Epcot.
Yes.
Epcot. I mean, I still love Epcot. It is like it's my second favorite park. Some days it's number one, just depending on when you ask me. But like it, you know, Epcot's changed a lot ever since it opened, and like Spaceship Earth has ultimately not. Like it's changed a few things, but that ride at its core is still the same.
And the biggest thing that I have for Epcot, for D23 at least, is I just think Epcot really got just glanced over.
Yeah.
Like I feel like now we got big hitters of news at least for the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of a shame because like they just put in this huge permit to work on the Imagination Pavilion, which we don't know which direction that's going in. Is it the Magic Eye Theater?
Was that not for a lounge?
The second floor lounge. We'll see part of it, but it's a long refurbishment.
Yeah.
It's a multi-month refurbishment. Like it goes deep into 2025.
Like to take down the ride? Or
we don't know. It's just for the Imagination Pavilion.
Oh, wow.
Which covers a lot of area. And so I was kind of hoping we'd get some clarification maybe on what that would be, whether that's a Figment bring back Dreamfinder type of thing, or just a, hey, we're bringing Captain EO back for the 80th time, and we're going to revamp the theater or something. You know, like I was just hoping for something a little bit more with Epcot, and we didn't get anything.
I thought for sure we'd get Figment. Like, let me take you back here, listeners. Months ago, maybe even a year and a half ago, there was a video that Disney posted of Figment walking his butt into the Imagineering like building.
Yes.
And I said, hold the freaking phone.
Yeah.
Something's up with Figment. Something's up with Imagineering. Could the Dreamfinder be coming back?
Yeah.
Which, for those who don't know, the original Journey into Imagination was like 8 minutes longer than this one. There was a whole Dreamfinder. It was a different ride than it is now.
Yes.
And so, like, my thought, I was like, is Tony Baxter coming back? Are we restoring this ride? And, like, nothing. So, like, which, I mean, we were talking before we started this podcast about the popcorn bucket. Like, it amazes me that Figment has as much of a, like, cultural footprint as he does in that park, and his ride stinks.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Like, so many people hate that ride, yet they will go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs if they release a T-shirt with his face on it.
Yes.
You know, it's just insane to me, the culture around that. So I was a little disappointed in Epcot this year for D23. I really expected at least kind of one or two bigger announcements, and I think most of my predictions were centered around Epcot.
Starting with tearing down Communicore Hall.
Yeah,
I know it just opened,
but let's go ahead and replace it. But yeah, so I was a little disappointed in that. I thought Epcot should have gotten more. But boy, howdy.
Hey, now.
The rest of the lineup,
Hey, now.
holy crap. Like, it got real fast after that.
Gracious.
So we're going to go on to Animal Kingdom. Because Animal Kingdom has got a lot going on.
My most recent trip to Animal Kingdom, I had a moment with Animal Kingdom. The way my family operates, there's 6 of us. We rope drop every day.
Amen.
We get there, we run to we run to Flight of Passage. I was about to say Everest, but it's definitely not that. We used to be Everest.
I wouldn't blame you.
We run to Flight of Passage because that thing fills up like that.
Yes.
And then we just roped up everything, or we just go. And that's kind of how we are with a lot of these parks because we know how the wait times are going to get. I had a moment with Animal Kingdom when we went. I'd kind of split off from the rest of the group, and it was Max, my brother, had gone to do he had left me to go do an interview for his grad school, for PT school. So it's just me in Animal Kingdom. And I had stopped at the coffee stand outside, and I got me a little iced something or other. I forget what it was called. It was good. So I walk into Animal Kingdom with my iced coffee. It's middle of February, so it's start of February, so it's got a slight breeze in the air, and I just explore Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
And I realized that's what you have to do in this park. You can't run around.
That's right.
You got to go through all the trails. You got to go say hey to the otters.
Yes.
You gotta go on the gorilla trails. You gotta stop and look at the planter with the fancy leaves. You gotta look at the people walking by on the stilts. Like, you gotta stop and take your time.
That's right.
I love Animal Kingdom now.
I've said multiple times, one of the best days I've had was my December trip of 2023, where I had to change my plans a little bit, and I ended up going to Animal Kingdom for a full day. Like, I didn't go there for rope drop because I was at Jollywood Nights till like 2 a.m. the night before. But I did roll in there about 9 o'clock, and I stayed until the absolute last second. And I had a great day.
Oh, it's amazing.
Because I just took my time.
You can't
I wandered
rush through
through.
Animal Kingdom. You can't.
Yeah. And so that's why I always am like, I understand why people call it a half-day park. But truly, if you did everything there was, you could find a way to spend a whole day there. And I think especially with these updates we're getting from D23, I think it's upping the game now of Animal Kingdom. And it's really pushing it forward, at least in my opinion.
And we're not really aside from Dinosaur, we're not losing anything.
I think Animal Kingdom maybe got the best results.
I think so too.
Of the parks panel. And so let's start with Zootopia. Because Zootopia is getting a new show underneath the Tree of Life, replacing It's Tough to Be a Bug. Thank the Lord. Because that thing was absolutely terrifying.
I don't remember the show at all.
Jack doesn't remember it. I remember it every night in my nightmares. When that stinger comes straight into my back, and I can feel it still to this day. So I am thrilled about this. Now, I will not lie. I might be on the wrong side of this. Zootopia is not my favorite film. I know a lot of people love it.
I remember liking Zootopia.
And that's fine if you did. It's just not my favorite. I couldn't get into it.
What was your beef with Zootopia?
I think I just don't believe Nick Fury as a character. Like the
fox.
Yeah,
Nick Fury.
I just don't know. I like Jason Bateman just fine. I don't know. I just can't get behind it. Like, I can't get behind the whole thing. Like, it's nothing that's blatantly. I just couldn't get into it. And that stupid Shakira song, I also
Try Everything.
I cannot get behind.
Oh, I think that song's a bop.
Okay.
I'm sorry to say it.
We're gonna have a fight afterwards, but
I think that song is a bop.
I'm sorry, they play it way too much.
Oh man, because it's a bop, and they know it.
To each their own. Anyways, I am excited though about the Zootopia show going underneath the Tree of Life in the theater. Now, a lot of people have had a problem with it because it's like, does that really make sense? You know, the bugs made sense because it was under the Tree of Life, whatever. I don't think it matters. I think as long as it's related to the literal animal kingdom, I think it has a place in the park. And I think Zootopia belongs here. And this is going to come in winter of 2025. That is the projected date.
Okay.
So this is
I
coming
wasn't sure if they
sooner.
dropped a date for
This
that
is
yet.
coming sooner rather than late. Well, this was another one they breezed over in the song montage. And I was
And
like,
also, this came up in a previous D23 event.
yes.
Yeah.
At the D23 Expo last year in September, they kind of threw out this idea, along with what we're going to talk about in a second. But I really am excited about this. Even though I'm not a big fan of the movie, I often find that a lot of times the attractions they put based off the movies in the parks, I usually like a lot more than the actual movies themselves. So I think it will be fun. I think it'll be much better, be much improvement, and we're not going to scar children anymore. So I think that's wonderful.
Maybe that can go.
I think that's a great idea. But we will move on now to probably the biggest news that Animal Kingdom got. And that is the complete demolition
Bye-bye.
of Dino Land USA.
Again.
Thank the Lord.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
I feel like I'm a park purist in some ways,
Okay.
but some ways I'm not. Have you seen Dino Land recently?
Yeah, I know, for real, right?
Like, good Lord, we lost Primeval Whirl several years ago, so that whole part of the area is just nothing. Triceratops Bend is a Dumbo clone.
Yes.
The 57th one of those. Dinosaur's great.
Yes.
Dinosaur's awesome. Dinosaur's terrifying.
Yes.
Like, I'll just be so honest with you. Any horror movies, I'm usually chill. I'm fine. Horror games, for the most part, I'm chill. Anything spooky in rides,
it gets you.
It gets me because that's a real, tangible thing. Obviously, it's not real, and that it's not going to come alive and get me unless I'm in like a Kingdom Keepers book or something. But like, okay, perfect example. Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey.
Yeah.
At Universal, there's a set piece in that ride that has the Dementors coming down at you. They get about as close to you as I am to you right now, maybe even closer. You can reach out and touch them if you really wanted to. And so, like, stuff like that scares the crap out of me. So now getting into Dinosaur, those are big.
Yeah.
And they're freaky looking.
Yeah.
So, like, I rode it by myself back in February, and I'm just going to say it, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. That is the first time I kept my eyes open the entire time on that ride. It's terrifying.
I'm not going to lie. Dinosaur, towards the end of its run,
it's in bad shape.
It kind of wore on me a little bit. I was tired of getting just thrown around.
Oh, it's
and
rough.
I would stop riding it altogether.
Rough.
Like, I would maybe just ride it once and be like, okay, I'm done. I can't do that.
For as long as it's there, I'll ride it for the history. I'll ride it for Dr. Seeker. I'll ride it for that silly looking iguanodon at the end.
Yeah.
But my gosh, it is rough. Oh, and funny enough, I forget where I'd seen this, but at the end, the Carnotaurus, is that what it's called? The Carnotaurus?
Yeah, the Carnotaurus.
That takes your photo, like the last one. I had seen a tweet earlier of the B mode for that. And, I mean, clearly I never opened my eyes on this ride, because when we get to that part, I open my eyes straight ahead, and I'm looking right at the B mode for Carnotaurus.
That's
and
hilarious.
So the A mode, the Carnotaurus is on your right, and so it takes the photo. But straight ahead is just a head on like a stick, which I've never seen this ride in B mode. And so, like, I look ahead and I just see like a static Carnotaurus head, and that is it. And I was like, what the heck? And it took me until the end of the ride to realize, oh, that was the B mode. Oh, and like, because I mean, I never had my eyes open, so I'd never seen it. And I just thought that was really interesting. I was like, wow, I don't even see A mode. I just look straight ahead to B mode. And you can see it just right.
Yes.
You can just see it. It's so interesting.
But Dino Land USA as a whole never seemed to fit. Like, it just never, it was almost like a carnival. It was honestly to me, it was the most Six Flags-ish.
That's a good way to put that.
Type part of any of the Disney parks.
To me, a Six Flags-esque, like whack-a-mole type thing does not belong anywhere in Disney park.
That's right. It was very carnival.
But there were like 4 of them.
That's right.
Dino Land.
Yes. And so I'm very glad that this is getting ripped out, and we are now getting it replaced with the Central and South American themed land that we're getting. And I'm very, very excited about this. And so we're going to start with honestly the two things that I think are the things that are kind of like everybody like, okay, whatever, that's cool. The carousel, which I think honestly works so well for Animal Kingdom.
And wasn't the guy saying, like, I'm not sure what the story is here, but like the person who like operates the carousel is like a massive Disney fan. So like,
Yeah.
basically you boil it down, it's like an IP carousel.
Yes.
I think that's fun.
Like there's a Kevin. There's going to be a Kevin
Kevin's
from Up.
a girl?
Yeah, there's going to be a Kevin from Up like character on the carousel.
Nice.
They've already shown a model.
Oh yeah.
For that. And then it's just going to be different animals from Disney movies are going to be on this carousel, which again, that fits in Animal Kingdom so well. I don't know why they didn't think about it before. Like it's almost like duh, there should have been a carousel in this park with the different animals. It just makes sense. But then the Hacienda restaurant. This looks phenomenal. Yes, it's called the Hacienda, and it's going to feature flavors from the area like that we're focused on.
Let's go.
I am pumped about this. I'm also jealous. Animal Kingdom already has one of the best array of foods of the 4 parks.
Have you had Pandora's?
Oh yes.
Oh my gosh.
Satuli Canteen is a fan favorite on this podcast.
Oh my gosh, stellar.
But Flame Tree Barbecue is a banger too. You've got Tiffin's. You got Yak and Yeti.
Oh my gosh.
You've got so many big time lineups. It's like Epcot. It's almost a shame how much good food they have when you got 2 parks that are a wasteland.
Oh man.
When it comes to food. But Animal Kingdom looks like it's getting another banger restaurant, and I am pumped because honestly, Restaurantosaurus was one of the weakest links of that park, along with Pizzafari. If we could ever get rid of Pizzafari too, I'm gonna be a happy man.
I couldn't tell you how many years it's been since I've been to Restaurantosaurus. I know I have been before.
Yes.
Couldn't tell you how many years.
Oh, we all have. We all have been once because it's chicken nuggets and fries, but it's gone.
Dino chicken nuggies.
And Hacienda is looking like an absolute banger, and I'm so excited about it. But not as excited as I am about the next 2 things we're going to talk about. One being the new Encanto ride with the casita.
Let's go.
Where we're going to get to go into the casita.
I've only seen Encanto once, but I dug it a lot.
Yes.
That was a very, very fun
We're going to go through the casita on moving furniture. So
so is it a trackless?
They don't know. We don't know. They have not released any specific details. We don't know if it's trackless. We don't know if it's Omnimover. We don't know if it's a boat ride because from the concept art,
that's what.
You could kind of almost make it look like it was a boat ride. But if this is trackless or even an Omnimover, I'm behind it 100%.
I'm fine with this being. I know we get trackless rides a lot at Disney recently, but if my math is right, Animal Kingdom doesn't have one of those.
Yes.
So I'm cool with that.
And honestly, the casita would be a perfect place for a trackless
I think so
ride.
Too.
With the chaoticness of all the rooms and everything you could go into, I think it would work brilliantly for this. And so I'm honestly pumped about it. Encanto fits well into this new area. I think it fits well with the whole vibe. One of the characters
great sitting there where Primeval World did. It looks great sitting there in the corner.
And one of the characters from Encanto speaks to animals, so it fits in.
Isn't that the story?
Park.
Like, the story is like you arrive on the day he gets that gift or something. Like, perfect.
It fits in the park well, so I'm in love with that. The only part of this new area that I even hesitate to question because this is so good in Disneyland. It's the Indiana Jones ride.
I'm so excited to ride that, yeah.
Now, I love the Indiana Jones ride in California, and this is not a clone of it. That is important to note. This is not a clone of the California ride. This is a new ride with its own storyline, all these things. Probably going to keep the vehicles from Dinosaur, all those good things. But the only thing I'm a little hesitant about is I don't really understand where this fit. Every other piece has almost fit perfectly with Animal Kingdom and with everything we got. And yes, there's the mystical element of like he's looking for something. There's a mystical object or creature or something he's trying to find that we're going along with. I'm just almost having a harder time tracking with this one than I have every other part of this new land.
Because like when this got first brought up as a Blue Sky thing and Indiana Jones was mentioned as the ride for like Dinosaur show building, like Dinosaur itself is a clone of Temple of the Forbidden Eye.
Yes.
like same ride system, same ride vehicle, same track layout, if I'm not mistaken, just with dinosaurs instead of Indiana Jones. And so, like, really, you're taking off the reskin and going back to the OG. But I'm glad that they clarified that this is a different storyline than the original, because I've never written the original, but I understand the original has nothing to do with like animals or conservation or whatever.
Oh yeah.
But given that this is a different storyline, now you can like retroactively make it fit.
Yes.
Which that now falls on them to make the storyline work within the context of the theme of the park.
Yeah, because we have mythical and out of this world type of stuff in Animal Kingdom, like the Yeti on Expedition Everest.
Mm-hmm.
We have Pandora, which is obviously,
and,
you know, the mythical or not realistic.
And one of the original, like, one of the original pitches for Animal Kingdom, which I think was actually in like marketing for the park for a long time, was Beastly Kingdom, which like had the dragon in there, and so like you could even pay homage to that with this.
Yes.
Which, funny enough, Dinoland won out over the Beastly Kingdom concept, and now Dinoland's getting ripped out. That's just funny to me. But like, you could pay homage to the Beastly Kingdom thing with this. Like, I'm glad that they clarified that it's a different storyline than Temple of the Forbidden Eye, because now you can craft a storyline that makes Indiana Jones fit. Yes. I was listening to a podcast earlier, and they were like, "You should just put Indiana Jones with dinosaurs." I mean, come on.
Yeah,
I think that'd be hilarious. But you know, they can totally make that work.
Yes, I'm not doubting their ability to make the ride great, because they've done it before. I just want to see exactly what we're getting into, because that's the one part of this that I'm like, okay, I kind of get it, but I kind of don't.
Because Animal Kingdom is the one, I won't say the one park, but of the Florida parks,
yes,
the one that has maintained its thematic integrity.
Yes,
the best.
Oh, I agree. The cohesion amongst all of its parts has been absolutely incredible maintaining. And
Joe Rohde has his sniper sights set on any Imagineer who touches Animal Kingdom.
That's right. And so that's what I don't want it to lose, is its core theming. And so that's why this is the only part of it that I'm like, okay, I love everything else. I need to see what this is going to be.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm on board. I think Animal Kingdom had the best D23 showcase of them all. I know a lot of people are sad, but listen, you can be sad if you want to.
Be honest, Dinosaur is rough, and there's no way.
And let's be honest, Dinosaur's the only thing you're going to Dino Land for. I know a lot of families are like, but the Boneyard Playground.
No, stop it.
Listen, I know that is fun. That is fun, but there's not that I haven't.
But now you get a carousel.
Yeah, but I haven't seen that filled in a long time. You know,
like now you get a ride where famously right now there is nothing. There used to be a ride that was fun.
That's right.
Now it's nothing.
I am pumped for Animal Kingdom. Hollywood Studios.
Here we go.
Okay, here we go. This is where
here we go.
We'll start small, because I'm not going to lie. In my predictions, I had nothing for Hollywood Studios. Nothing.
Because I mean, what space do they have?
Well, I also was thinking, and I was like, I can't think of anything that would be touched or changed or whatever. Now, Smuggler's Run was announced that they're getting a new storyline with Grogu and the Mandalorian.
I don't even love that show, but honestly, thank goodness. Like that, I don't love that ride that much. But like that ride being the same mission over and over and over and over again,
it can get exhausting.
It's astounding to me that it's the only scene on there.
That was something that I was like, oh, okay, cool, yeah. But it was the next announcement for Hollywood Studios.
Here we go.
That had my jaw on the floor. This was not on. We talked about my bingo card earlier. This was nowhere remotely close to my bingo card.
Yeah, this shocked me.
This was completely out of left field, completely out of the opposite side of the earth. I had no idea that this was like
rose from the ground.
Nowhere on my mind.
Rose from the message boards of Disney forums circa 2004.
But Monsters Inc.
Oh man,
is getting both a land, like an area, and we are finally getting the ride that so many people since the day that movie came out has been clamoring for. Mike and Sully's Big Adventure from California. No, I'm just kidding. We're not getting that. We're not getting that.
Superstar Limo?
Yeah,
what?
No, we're not getting that. We are getting the roller coaster that goes through the building with the doors. The first inverted coaster ever in Disney history where we're going to be hanging down.
If you've been to Dollywood,
yes,
apparently it's a very similar vibe to Wild Eagle, which if you've been on Wild Eagle, is a stellar ride.
Which, I mean, here's the thing. Inverted coasters are nothing new. This is not groundbreaking new technology. So if you've been on an inverted coaster right before, you can kind of see where we're going. But this, honestly,
with Disney theming,
I am pumped about this ride. But here's the thing. I think what's going to come down to...
Easy here, Lane.
What it's going to come down to is, where is this going?
Where is this going?
Now, Jack, I'm going to throw this completely out there. I don't think this is replacing Muppets. I'm going to be completely straightforward. We can come back. We can keep receipts. And if I'm wrong, I'll eat crow. I will.
Oh, God.
Here's why I don't think it's replacing Muppets. Because Star Tours is also there. And a parking lot is like pretty close to being right. Hollywood back there is crowded.
Yeah.
And I just don't think there's enough space between Star Tours and the Muppets area, considering you have Galaxy's Edge right on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's enough space there unless they did some dramatic changes to do that.
And the thing
I just don't think they will do that.
The thing that has people concerned over this, I mean, there was an article from The Wrap that came out a couple of days ago that's talking about Muppet Vision. But like one of the things that got us concerned at the panel itself was one of these pieces of concept art.
Yes.
There were two of them.
Yes.
That, to the trained eye, puts this area in two different places.
Yes.
One of them has a water tower and a very suspicious-looking Pizzerizzo-looking place.
Yeah.
That puts it in Muppet Courtyard or whatever it's called. The other one has the trees the Animation Courtyard's got.
Yes.
And so, like, these two pieces of concept art, though showing the same idea, Monstropolis, place this in two very different places on opposite sides of the park.
Yes. It has come out, though, that those are old pieces of concept art.
Again, when were these made?
See, and that's the thing. I feel like this is so out of left field that they just wanted something cool to announce, almost. And so they maybe dug this out of God knows what bin from the early 2000s to bring up. And maybe back then it was considered to be replacing the Muppets, when there was no Galaxy's Edge.
Right.
That's the thing that gets me. With that Galaxy's Edge,
there was no Toy Story Land either.
Well, yeah, and when there was just the streets of America, there's plenty of space back there to work with. I think that's what that concept art is for.
Yeah.
But now that you have Galaxy's Edge there, that's why I'm thinking the only two likely places that this is going to go with existing things is Animation Courtyard, which is fine with me because Voyage of the Little Mermaid, even though it's supposed to be coming back like this year or next year, sometime soon, let's be honest, it hasn't even been in operation
since COVID, right?
COVID.
God, has it been that long?
It's been like 4 years.
Goodness.
So honestly, Disney's not that invested in that show. If they're just now bringing it back, and they're like, oh yeah, well, you got an empty building there. Also, let's be honest, the Disney Junior Play dance area,
you can go.
It's fine.
You can go.
Okay for the littles, but I mean, what's it really serving other than just a show, that doesn't even run all day? And so...
Would you rather have that or a Mike and Sully meet and greet?
And so that's the thing.
Come on now.
Also, the building rendering that they had, the model, it doesn't look like this thing is that deep.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like, it doesn't look like the building itself is going to go that deep. So I think it could all fit in Animation Courtyard somehow. And maybe, I think there's a little bit of room behind there too before you hit, the Sunset Boulevard back portion. I think there's plenty of space right there to work with. You could put some stuff there and it would work. But let's also not forget, right around the corner from Animation Courtyard is Pixar Place, which has nothing. It is literally a bunch of vacant buildings that they're doing empty Pixar meet and greets at.
I'm about to say, isn't there like an Incredibles meet and greet back there or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know how many people I see back there? Very little.
Yeah.
You have got two prime locations right on the other side of the park that needs to be upgraded because Star Wars Launch Bay doesn't make any freaking sense anymore because we got Galaxy's Edge.
Nope. It's been there for years and I don't understand why it's still there.
So I think that's the only two places it can go.
And I'll add some more onto this. Not only would putting it in Animation Courtyard make the most sense, I feel, space-wise. Also, it is right next to Toy Story Land, another Pixar property.
Yes.
And so if you wanted to, you could connect those two and have it be just one massive Pixar area.
Yes.
Furthermore, I'm not done. Furthermore, it's been rumored for years that Aerosmith Rock and Roller Coaster needs a retheme. You know what? I would miss Aerosmith. I would miss the funny little pre-show. I would miss Steven Tyler screaming in my ear for the takeoff. I would miss all of that. However, if you need a building to house a coaster, there's one right there.
Yes.
If you need to retheme Rock and Roller Coaster, boom! If the building is right there,
yes.
You can back the inverted coaster in there. It's right there.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
That's right. So that's why I'm completely convinced that that is old artwork before Galaxy's Edge was even a thing. And that's why it looks so much like Muppet's Courtyard. I just think with the way Star Tours building is too, Star Tours building design, it'd be hard. They'd have to take both of those out. And I don't know if you could do that.
Because Star Tours is housed to be a simulator ride.
Yes.
There's no way that show building is that big.
Yeah. So, but the way it's like positioned is weird.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So you'd have to take both of those out if you were going to replace it. And again, I just don't think there's enough space. I think that concept art was for when there was still Streets of America. There was plenty of open space back there. I think that's what that was for. And so if you're freaking out about Muppet Vision, I don't think you should be. Again, I'll eat crow if I need to.
If Muppet Vision 3D has no defenders, I have left this earth and gone to be with Jesus.
Yes.
I love that show.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm hoping it stays too. But I guess here's the other thing. How do we feel about this? Because I think this is what you want to get into. How do we feel about this being here? If it's done correctly and it's put, like we said, with the animation courtyard side and all that, is your bigger gripe with this more so with the potential location, or that Monsters is coming to Hollywood Studios?
I don't have an issue with Monsters Inc. coming to Hollywood Studios because of Hollywood Studios, ever since this round of updates really got started around 2016 with like Streets of America going away, Galaxy's Edge taking its place, Toy Story Land taking over the area where the Backlot Tour was. Hollywood Studios lost its soul a long time ago.
Yeah.
Like really the final nail in the coffin for the theming for the current, like the original theming for Hollywood Studios was the removal of the Great Movie Ride, which is one of my favorite attractions of all time. There's a poster for it in my office. To this day, I love that ride. My kids will know about that ride. It's incredible. I think Hollywood Studios lost its original theming when that ride closed. However, I've been thinking about this since the announcement of Monstropolis. Yes, I do think I think Hollywood Studios is still trying to hang on to that theming of like, oh, this is like about golden, like Hollywood and like how movies are made. No, it's not. It hadn't been that way since forever.
Yeah.
But I think there is a way that it can reclaim its soul in this idea. Disney, you can pay me royalties on this. Epic Universe, again, here we go, invoking Universal's name, is doing this thing where like you're like entering these portals to different lands. I'm not saying install portals at each of these places, although Galaxy's Edge kind of has that.
Yeah.
There is a way that you could like turn Hollywood Studios into this place, because like you still have Sunset Boulevard, you still have like the golden decor Hollywood thing going on, but like you have the Chinese theater there. I don't know how to do this, but I'm not paid to be an Imagineer, so I don't have to figure it out. There is a way, I feel, that you can make Hollywood Studios a place where you can like enter these magical worlds. Yeah. You can like enter these, kind of like how Universal's whole thing back in the day was like ride the movies. Yeah. Like, is it making sense? Like, a place where you can like enter these movie worlds, which then makes the IP dumping ground reputation more manageable. Because now, yes, it is an IP dumping ground, but that's also the bit.
And I think kind of the way I would market it is this is a place where the movies you grew up with and you love are coming to life.
Yes.
Toy Story. How many of us wanted to have toys that actually would, as creepy as it seems as an adult, as a kid, how many of us like would look at our toys and be like, I wonder if they actually come to life. Like when I'm at school or whatever, you know. And now I get to be in Andy's backyard. I get to ride a Slinky Dog roller coaster, or like so many. Think about how many generations the Star Wars movies have had an impact on, and now you can walk into essentially a Star Wars movie right there in Hollywood Studios. This is not. You're right. The original interpretation, the original way that Hollywood Studios was to be perceived, has absolutely gone away.
It's been gone for years.
But I think now it has turned itself into something where your movies are now coming to life, and you can be a star in the movies.
And that's not something that they've communicated that park is,
yes.
But I think they should, because that's
yes.
what it has become.
Yes, and again, Disney, if you're listening to this, which we know you are, you should hire us.
You can
to
pay
help
us royalties
market this for you,
yes.
because it'd be great.
I'll help
we
you
love
with
it. We would.
I'll take a year off from ministry. I'll do it. I'll do what I have to do.
Yeah.
I'll
get a suit.
I'll do what I have to do.
I'll go buy a suit. I'll do whatever I need to do. So I don't think I own a suit. So,
but I still, I'm not even sure I know why.
Okay.
That park is still my favorite.
Yeah.
And I recognize that right now, with it still kind of hanging on to that theme for dear life, that original theming for dear life, it's kind of a mess.
Yes.
And I understand that, but it's my mess.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I love that park. And maybe I'll come back to this when we talk about the Magic Kingdom stuff. But like, I have a deep, deep, deep fondness for what that park used to be. And I don't say that as I don't like what it is now. But I do have such a deep attachment to what that park used to be, which the Great Movie Ride kind of encapsulated all that.
Yeah.
And so it's still my favorite because of that.
I get that.
And it's got shades of that still.
Yes.
Like, even what it's become, it's still got shades of what it was.
Yes.
And I think that is so strong that it still holds it together for me.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, I can say this and I can be proven wrong. I think regardless of what they end up doing to that park, it's still gonna like be my favorite because it's still got that vibe that I like.
Yeah.
Like, I'm walking down Sunset Boulevard and I hear that it's been a long, long time trumpet solo. Like that TikTok video you see all the time, of late night Hollywood Studios. It gets me emotional just thinking about that. I love that park so much.
I will say this, and we can leave it at this unless you got other thoughts, but Sunset Boulevard to me is the one kind of ground there that I think should always remain how it is.
I agree. And because I don't know what you turn it into. Well, I mean, I'm praying Disney World never gets the Marvel rights because every ride I love will get retrofitted. Yes. But like, because for those who don't know, Universal has the Marvel rights east of the Mississippi River. Isn't that right?
In terms of theme parks,
yeah. Yes. As far as theme parks are concerned, which means your Spider-Man costumes stink in Islands of Adventure. But I'll take that over a Guardians of the Galaxy Tower of Terror retrofit. You can have that, California. And plus, like, Sunset Boulevard was the first expansion for Hollywood Studios. Like, it's the one place aside from like the main drag that like kind of still has that original theming. So I agree. Plus, it's got Tower of Terror. If you take Tower of Terror away from me, you will not like who I turn into.
I think Sunset Boulevard has to be the pillar that always remains. I think that's the only logical thing to keep as a monument. But everything else, again, the original idea has gone and moved on. So we should evolve the park to where it is now.
There is a way to reclaim that park's soul, and they have not done it, but I think they can.
I think Monsters is a good as long as it goes where it needs to go, it can be a huge step forward in the right direction, in my opinion.
The tweets I was seeing, I think they announced this later in the night, so I was asleep because I had to serve at church the next morning. Some of us have church on Sunday mornings at Disney. But like, I woke up the next morning and saw all that plus the stuff we're about to get to, and like the tweet I kept seeing over and over and over again concerning Nostropolis was like, but where is it going? Because famously Hollywood Studios has no discretionary space in which to work. So but where is it going?
We'll figure that out. But yes, then we got to kind of the meat.
This is a big
of
one.
It. That's the Magic
If you
Kingdom.
thought we had the meat before, sorry.
I know, and this has probably already been a long one. Okay, let's just be honest. This has already probably been a long episode, but golly, Magic Kingdom, man, it's loaded. We'll start with the quick stuff. Pirates Lounge coming in 2025 again.
Let's go.
I'm excited about it, especially if it replaces Tortuga Tavern and is actually like Tortuga Tavern. I think that's a huge hit. I think that's a great place to go. hang out, relax. I'd love to see it. I'm excited about it. One of my predictions was that we would get an announcement about a nighttime parade, and we got that. We are getting a brand new. I thought it was going to be the return of the Main Street Electrical Parade, which I was like, I'm fine with that. Or Paint the Night, which I would have also been fine with. But we're getting a brand new nighttime parade called Starlight, coming in the summer of 2025. I'm pumped. I'm really pumped. I love a good nighttime parade at the Magic Kingdom. I didn't know how much I appreciated it until Main Street Electrical Parade was gone. And then I'm like, okay, something does feel like it's missing from the nighttime element here. Especially when I saw Paint the Night at Disneyland for the first time. I was like, oh, these parks need, like the castle parks, they need a nighttime set of shows, not just the fireworks. And I love Happily Ever After. But this is going to be awesome. I cannot wait for Starlight to come out. So, Starlight's coming summer of 2025. I'm all here for it. Then, things transitioned quickly. Like, I mean,
I have not seen the panel. How did they handle getting into this big stuff?
Okay, so for this first one, they had a fake FaceTime call with the one and only Tow Mater.
What?
It was completely out of left field. Mater answers this fake FaceTime call.
Is it Larry the Cable Guy? Like reprising the role?
Oh, yeah.
That's funny.
Him and Josh Tomorrow are going back and forth.
Sure, that was the most cringe thing in the world.
And then, it wasn't nearly as cool as Billy Crystal coming out and talking about Monsters, Inc.
No, that's how you do it.
That was hype.
That's how you do it.
But anyways, after it was so awkward. Because Tow Mater, he's like, well, we got something to show y'all. And then, like, Josh Tomorrow was like, yes. So coming to the Magic Kingdom, beyond Big Thunder Mountain, is a new Cars Land with 2 new attractions, all these things. And there was like it was a very muted response.
Oh, the crowd wasn't bought into it.
The crowd was kind of like, you heard some, yeah, woo.
Oh,
but
man.
for a lot of it.
Okay, and that's troublesome because the people in there are the freaks.
Yes.
Those are the weirdos.
Most intense Disney fans probably on earth.
Those are D23. If you think us doing a Disney podcast just at all is a strange thing,
yeah,
these jokers are crazy.
I mean, they live and breathe it, and so you could tell the vibe shifted quickly.
Oh boy,
he ran through it.
Oh,
he tried to be as excited as possible about it, and then it was like, okay, go to the next thing. Bring out Deadpool. Deadpool came out for a little bit, right after that. Deadpool did something completely different right after that. They were talking about like Infinity Games or something right after that. So that was a great.
Was that the Fortnite bit?
Yeah, they were talking about Fortnite and all these other games they were working with. Deadpool was honestly one of the highlights of the
Wait a minute, wasn't there this is totally getting off the Cars thing briefly, but like, didn't they like have a drawing of him that had like a Fix the Yeti?
Yeah,
sign?
He also had
what a goated.
He also was dressed up as Dr. Seeker in one of the drawings.
That's incredible.
It was very tongue in cheek. It was very tongue in cheek, which is exactly how Deadpool is.
That's awesome.
But so Deadpool was a highlight. But anyways, going back to Cars, the biggest problem people are having with this whole idea is they're not getting how it fits into Frontierland, which I understand. And then they also are now very dramatically upset because of Rivers of America,
which was not part of the panel
going away.
If I understand correctly,
that was not talked about until a couple of days afterwards.
I feel like that's really dirty.
That news did drop about 2 days afterwards that Rivers of America would be being replaced,
and by extension, Tom Sawyer's Island.
Yes, Tom Sawyer's Island as well going away. Here's what I will say. Frontierland, for the Frontierland debate part of it.
As far as like the theming of that.
Yeah, with fitting Cars Land into
like what that means. Yeah.
Listen, can you explain to me how Tiana's Bayou Adventure fits in, or even how Splash Mountain, which is 2 southern properties when you think about it, fit into Frontierland? Because I can't really, unless you can, Jack, but I can't think of a way those directly tie to the old frontier.
Mm-hmm.
Big Thunder Mountain is the only part of Frontierland that technically really feels old westerny,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily have a problem with this because it's Cars is technically set in the West, Route 66. There's mountains and scenery. If you've looked at Cars Land at all at California Adventure, you see the mountains, you see the landscaping. I can see where they can make that fit in, but also, this is not a clone of Radiator Springs.
I appreciated this. Well, no, yeah, I did, because like, it's not just like it's like a sequel land almost, but it's also like an exclusive to Magic Kingdom. Like,
Yes.
it's not like you can get Radiator Springs out in California, but you come
Yes.
here to see whatever this is.
It's not a clone of Radiator Springs. So if you're thinking that that's what this is going to be, then yes, it doesn't fit over there at all. But the way they're making this out to be is very Western, like where Route 66, this is a place along Route 66 with canyons and all the. I think it's going to fit in just fine. Now, it is going to be kind of weird. You got these cartoony cars out there, but also, can we go back to Tiana's Bayou Adventure? You've got talking alligators and other things. How does that fit with and bears singing country versions of Disney songs?
Used to be talking bears and talking foxes and talking rabbits.
Yes.
In Splash Mountain.
Where does that fit in the quote unquote Old West? That's why I don't have a problem with it being in Frontierland. And I don't have a problem with Tom Sawyer's Island being taken away either. I understand for a lot of people that's very classic Disney, but much like with the tree houses, I don't really understand their purpose. Tom Sawyer's Island, I haven't seen many people on it in a long time. I mean, a couple handfuls of people every now, mostly with kids. But I don't remember the last time I went out to Tom Sawyer's Island. I don't, And like, I get it. The Liberty Bell will be missed. Like, I liked the Liberty Bell. But again, can you honestly, if you're watching this or listening to this, can you tell me the last time you rode the Liberty Bell? I can, because I did it for a challenge. I tried to do as many random things as I could on a vlog at Disney World. But that was the last time I rode it, and there was not very many people on it. A lot of this is just from a nostalgia lens point of view. And Jack, you can push back on me at any point. You don't have to worry. I can take it. A lot of this is from a nostalgia lens. You have a vision of what the park has always looked like to you and how it's always been. And when you come in and you start tweaking it, you start changing things, you don't like that. It's a lot like our movie talk at the beginning of this. What do people really crave now with their movies? It's a nostalgia bait thing, right? That's why these nostalgic movies are making so much money, even though they're maybe not the best movies, is because it's something familiar that people like. And I get it. When you go to Disney World, like we talked about at the beginning too, it does feel a lot like home. You do feel like, oh, I know this place. It's familiar. I'm coming back to it. But listen, I don't think there's anything wrong with getting rid of something that absolutely nobody is going to. It's just an empty island sitting there.
Yeah.
I've talked about for years on this podcast. I've always wanted Tiana's restaurant to go on Times Square Island. I thought that'd be perfect. You put that out there.
I thought for sure, speaking of Tiana Restaurant, that we get a Pecos Bill retheme.
Yeah, we haven't gotten that. But I always thought you put Tiana's place on the island. You have your little Starlight cruise that goes across the bayou to the restaurant. I've talked about for years that I think Times Square Island should change. I have no sympathy at all for this going away.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you the last time I can tell you the last time I was on Liberty Bell, but not the last time I went to Tom Sawyer's Island.
So I understand that you're sad, and it's okay to feel sad. This is a place that you love, but it's ridiculous. It really is. At the end of the day, I think what we're getting is going to be so much cooler and so much better than just an empty island. And I get it. The aesthetics are going to look weird, and it's going to be different. But I don't know, Jack. I mean, I'm not completely against it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, am I crazy?
Okay. This is going to take some elaboration, so bear with me. I may be talking for a second here. My pushback against this is twofold. One, I also have no sympathy for Tom Sawyer's Island. I recognize there's some really, I think, okay, based on the takes I've been seeing, Tom Sawyer's Island represents a place of seclusion and a place of like quiet from the, frankly, insanity of Magic Kingdom.
Yes.
I think I understand this is a blasphemous take. I understand this is insane to a lot of people. Magic Kingdom, of the 4 Walt Disney World parks, might be my least favorite one because of the fact that like the crowds there are insane.
Yeah.
It can be a concrete jungle. It's like, for some reason, it's the hottest of the 4 parks, and there's Animal Kingdom at one of those. Like, I don't know. Like, something about Magic Kingdom, I'm like, this place is just very, very chaotic. And so, I think for a lot of people, Tom Sawyer's Island represents something different in that park. Now, the other part of this is Rivers of America. For me, Rivers of America represents a kind of theming in a Disney park that separates it from any other theme park brand in the world, Universal included. And I love Universal. But it can't hold a candle to the theming of Disney. And Rivers of America, I think, is one of the better examples of that. Maybe not the best, but it's one of the better examples. You have a whole river system going through this park that gives it a sense of place, gives it a sense of theming, gives it a sense of life, a sense of kinetic energy that concrete jungles like Six Flags, which I love Six Flags, but let's be honest, it's Six Flags.
It serves its purpose.
Come on. Yeah, exactly. They just don't have. That's what makes Disney, say what you want to about some of their like calls recently, but like that's what sets them above the rest, is stuff like Rivers of America that gives it its sense of place. And also, every castle park has something like this. Rivers of America, I don't know if they have a Tom Sawyer Island over in the international parks, but they have a river system. Like all the parks, like all the castle parks have this river system. And so Magic Kingdom being the one that gets bulldozed and filled in for an IP area, which is ironic that I say that because I just watched Cars, the first one, again recently, and I gave that 4.5 on Letterboxd.
Yeah.
That movie is fire.
I love the original
That
Cars.
movie is awesome.
And I like Cars 3 too.
I haven't seen that one in a long time, but I remember liking it. But here's my larger thing that, again, this is going to take a minute to set up. My first experience that in recent memory where I was really like, oh, okay, so this is a thing that can happen, is Disney doing addition by subtraction. The first time I saw this, that I remember, where I was like, oh shoot, like this can like take away stuff that I like, was in 2017 when the Great Movie Ride and Universal Energy closed on the same day. It was a rough day. I was at home. I was just reading the tweets as they were doing like their last ride throughs, but it made me sad because Great Movie Ride was in my top 5 rides of all time at that moment, which I mean, I guess if you put a gun to my head, I guess it still is because I love that ride, but like it's not even around anymore, so I can't put it in there. But like that and Universal Energy closed on the same day. Now, I would say Guardians is a net positive. But what we lost,
Amen.
what we lost is fine because of what we gained.
Yes.
Just for me, and I recognize my affinity for the Great Movie Ride is probably what causes most of this, but I can't say that about Mickey and Minnie. I think Mickey and Minnie, first of all, I hate that animation style. I don't like that it looks like those new cartoons. I don't like that. I think the cartoons are fine, but I just don't like the way Mickey looks.
Yeah.
I think they all look really dumb. And plus, I think that ride, like, the animatronics don't really do it for me. Like, just something about that. The pieces that make up that ride don't come together for me in a satisfying way at all, especially compared to what it was. Point being, Disney took those 2 rides out to replace them with something else, addition by subtraction. And they refer to these rides as new rides. They're not. They're replacements. Especially, I think they're lower capacity than, because like they had the same ride system. I think they're lower capacity than the originals. But this is coming up now because the whole bit was this is beyond Big Thunder. There's a big wooded area back there. If you've seen aerial shots of Magic Kingdom ever, behind Big Thunder Mountain and behind the behind the Rivers of America, there's nothing back there. If Magic Kingdom was a circle, it is the top left circle. There's nothing in there. The railroad goes through there, but there's nothing back there. And so when they say beyond Big Thunder, I'm thinking, okay, any expansion we do, it's going behind Big Thunder, and then you can put another land to the right of that, because there's enough land back there to have two things. And so this, I think, is now granted. Tom Sawyer Island and Rivers of America and Liberty Bell are not drawing the crowds that even Universe of Energy and Great Big Red did on their worst day. Like, they're drawing bigger crowds. But this is still an example of that.
Mm-hmm.
You say beyond Big Thunder, no, you're going beside Big Thunder. Like, stop taking away stuff.
Yeah.
And like Walt himself said, this, how big is the property? Like 40 square miles or something?
Yeah.
Disney World's fortress is huge.
Mm-hmm.
And I recognize some of that is set aside for like conservation and stuff, which is awesome. But like, I don't understand. Like Walt said this. He said, this land is big enough to house every idea we could ever have. And yet, there's been a lot of addition by subtraction recently. Even Galaxy's Edge, which granted, well, again, what we got, I feel, was a net positive over what we lost. Same with Toy Story Land, with the backlot. But still, that's addition by subtraction. We lost something to get something else. And now Disneyland can do that. That's fine. They're landlocked by the city of Anaheim. I got it. But Disney World's not that way. Disney World is landlocked by by forest, by trees. And so like, I don't see why Cars couldn't have gone truly beyond Big Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because like in one of those pieces of concept art, before they dropped the actual one, like where it was going to be, on like the night of the panel when they were doing like that cartoon concept art, there's a shot of one car with like the new mountain behind him and then Big Thunder in the back. Me, when I first saw that, I was like, okay, this is like right behind Big Thunder, and then whatever else is going to go to the right of this. That's what I thought. I never thought it was going to be in the Rivers of America section. My issue is not so much with losing Rivers of America and Tom Sawyer Island. It is with the addition by subtraction issue, and it's with the you lose a very, I think, I'm not sure how critical it is, but you lose a thing that has made you distinct from any other theme park brand in the world, which is that very immersive and very intentional theming. And I think you lose that. And I think Cars Land, as good as it's going to be, just increases the concrete jungle that is already Magic Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I draw issue with it. I think it's going to be, I think you take out where Cars Land is going to be, you just take it as an idea, as a concept, as a project. I think it's going to be great. Because let's be honest, I love Cars.
Yeah.
Haters can kick rocks. I love Cars.
That's right.
And like even the family attraction, I think will be great. The E.T. will be awesome. But like, where it's placed just makes no sense to me. And then to cap it off, you're standing in line for the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
And you hear ka-chow. What in the world? Like, that
they're gonna know I'm there.
Just makes no sense.
Now they're gonna know I'm at the park.
Anyway, there's the end of my.
Acting like they don't already hear that when I'm in line. Ka-chow.
There's the end of my sermon.
So here's what I'll say, and we can kind of put this one to bed.
Yeah. I
think probably the best solution would have been to just shorten Rivers of America a little bit, because there's, like you said, there's plenty of space where they could have maybe shortened that run a little bit without getting rid of it completely.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would have been a better.
It's a long system.
It's a long route. Like if you get on the Liberty Bell, you're on there for a lot longer than I thought.
A minute, yeah, you're on there for a while.
But I think if you shortened it a little bit, that might have been probably the best case scenario solution you could have had for it. But the other part of this that doesn't make a whole lot of sense with where it is, just they weren't even conclusive on where this next thing we're going to talk about is going.
Yes.
And so if you don't know exactly where this next part is going, why would you not just take advantage of at least just even imagining all the space you do have back there just doing that for just cars if you don't know what else you're going to put back there right now. And again, this is just, I know permits have been filed and things
That was this
like
week, right?
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. They file permits for a lot of stuff. They file permits for a lot of things that sometimes they just file permits for so they can file permits for, i.e. the fifth park thing that came out a couple weeks before D23.
Have they filed for permits for a fifth gate?
No, but what they did file was they filed something with the Reedy Creek development thing that said, hey, if we were ever to want to build a fifth park, would that be okay? And they said, yes, we approve that. You can have that. We'll file that for you, that we gave you permission for you to build a fifth gate if you ever wanted to.
Interesting.
Everybody took that into thinking they're going to announce a fifth gate. No, they're not. They want to build upon, and they want to try to.
They don't need a fifth gate. They need to invest in what they got.
That's
they
not
have
the solution right now.
Yeah,
with
not.
Epic Universe breathing down your neck, you need to enhance what you got, and then worry about a fifth park at a different place and time.
I so agree.
But all that being said, I think using that space more wisely would have been probably the best solution. But again, we could all be being over dramatic.
We could be so wrong about this.
Because maybe, yes, they are filing permits for that, and it looks like right now they are going to replace it. But by the time they start digging into the dirt, they start excavating stuff, maybe they say, hey, you know what, this isn't a great idea. Let's just go ahead and do something different, or shorten the Rivers of America instead of getting rid of it completely. Maybe this is going to make it better for sight lines and all of those things,
That was something else somebody brought up. Like Haunted Mansion is now going to be opened up to sight lines it wasn't designed for.
Yes.
And like you could see the show building maybe from like the backside of Cars area.
So I just think there's a lot of things that I think will get sorted out as they start. But this is just all the first draft. We're just in the first phase of everything. So I think we need to let it breathe a little bit.
They say it's not blue sky, but which, I mean, I believe that, but that's a good point. How early?
Yes.
Like how far past blue sky are we really?
Yeah,
how many degrees of separation?
We're not this isn't happening next year.
Yeah. They're starting construction early next year for a land. So that's going to take a minute.
Yeah, it's going to take a while. But it was this last thing that we're going to talk about that got everybody,
this was the first thing I saw when I woke up the morning after the paper.
Over the moon. So the way they set this up, too, honestly, was fantastic. So Josh D'Amaro walks out there on the stage, which if you don't know who Josh D'Amaro is basically the parks representative now for the Disney company as a whole.
For all of the parks.
Yeah, he's the head of the parks department. He walks out on the stage and he's like, all right, guys, we've had a great night, acting like he's going to wrap it up. And then this ominous dark music starts playing. Fire starts erupting from the stage. And then the magic mirror appears on the screen. And he's like, how dare you, Josh D'Amaro, not talk
Calls him by name.
not talk about what we know you have to talk about. And it's like this group came out and sang a song randomly. And then he came back out and he said, oh, yeah, by the way, we're building the Villain's Land in Magic Kingdom. And the whole place, you talk about cars kind of being subdued, the whole building was rocking when they announced Villain's Land at the Magic Kingdom. Now,
because what a great concept!
Oh yeah,
good gracious, what an incredible!
Now there have been some people who have pushed back on it that have said, Magic Kingdom's a bright, fun, cheery place.
Those people can kick rocks.
A Villain's
Land
is a
great idea.
I know, but I think Villain's Land. A lot of people said the fifth gate should have been Villain's Land.
A whole gate? No.
But that's the thing. I don't think Villain's Land is enough to anchor a whole gate by itself.
No.
So I always think it was going to be a part of a park anyways. And I think it just fits. When you think about where do all these characters come from? They come from the stories with your heroes. Put them in the same park where your heroes are. I think so agree.
And you have both
in
this park. Like you have your Fantasyland, which is about your heroes, and you have your Villain's Land, which is about your villains. Like that's you have them both in the same, and probably they'll connect.
And think about how much cooler, the Halloween party is going to be with.
Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh!
Epic. Now with Villain's Land, we're getting 2 major attractions. We're getting some shops. We're getting dining.
They said 2 attractions.
This is going to be a whole thing and a half. Now, here's the interesting part. In the original pitch for this at the D23 Expo last year, This was included in Beyond Big Thunder Mountain. But when they announced this, they did not say, hey, we're putting this Beyond Big Thunder Mountain. They just said, we're putting this in Magic Kingdom.
Oh, they didn't say anything about Beyond Big Thunder.
They didn't know. They did not give out a location to us, which gets the wheels spinning as to where in the world is this going to end up going? Because I can't think of another place except Beyond Big Thunder. But at the same time, I have no idea.
Well, I mean, you know the answer. They're just going to replace Fantasyland.
Now listen, if they ripped out Storybook Circus, that's one thing. Storybook Circus is one thing. I'd be okay with that.
Wasn't that the result of like a budget cut or something?
Oh, absolutely. Toontown getting downgraded to Storybook Circus is a tragedy.
Oh man.
But now if you put Villains Land behind Storybook Circus, like that'd be kind of.
But let's okay. Concept art.
Okay.
Famously is concept.
That's right.
This concept art's incredible.
Oh my gosh.
I woke up and I was
beautiful.
like, what the heck?
Yeah.
What did I say? I think I texted it to my brother. Let me go find this text just because I want to get this right.
Yeah, it looks incredible. The Maleficent Castle, like just every little tiny detail of it.
I
is
sent
jaw-dropping.
I sent him the picture. This was Sunday at 5:10 a.m. I just happened to wake up. It's the picture of the whole area. God, it looks so good. And I said, this concept art is freaking sick. Zero shot it ends up looking like this.
Well,
now that being said, if you want it to look like that,
yes,
I feel like the only place it could go is in that massive wooded area, which again, there's a lot of trees back there.
Yeah.
I feel like the only place it could go is Beyond Big Thunder Mountain.
Yes. And that was the original pitch, and maybe they just made a faux pas and not officially saying that. But the fact that he just said we're putting it in Magic Kingdom, I'm like spinning the wheels in my brain of like, where in the world is this going? Is this going to go? And I'm like, I kind of can see where they would say maybe not Beyond Big Thunder Mountain because Villains Land. Now, I can make an argument for Cars being in Frontierland. I can't necessarily make a pitch for Villains Land being in Liberty Square / Frontierland.
Well, I mean, if it's in that big wooded area where the railroad runs through, you would just call it a separate land, right?
Yeah,
like, it wouldn't even be considered Frontierland anymore.
Yeah, but you would have to connect to something.
Once you like, I guess they would make I don't know how you do the pathway from Big Thunder to back there, but like, I guess it's like the same as any other, like going from one land to another. You just cross over. Like it's just a different
It'd be
land.
weird, but I think they can make it happen. So, but anyways, I'm pumped for Villains Land. I think that was probably my favorite of the Magic Kingdom announcements. I was like, okay, rock solid.
People are playing the game of like comparing the Dark Universe at Epic Universe concept art to that, and it's like, why are we pitting these against each other?
Yeah.
Let's just be happy these are both in the same town.
I know, exactly.
Let's just be happy we're getting both of these.
Like, are they very similar in concept? Sure.
Let's just be happy you get both.
That's right.
We win, folks.
That's right.
We win.
That's right. The theme park wars, honestly, it just benefits us. You know, they keep making things bigger and better for both of us. But I mean, this is a lot. This is probably one of the longest episodes we've maybe ever done. But
then the actual me of D23, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but now we get into the real stuff. No, this was everything that was talked about at D23. Honestly, a lot of people are saying this might be one of the best 23s that's happened in a long time.
Sheer number of things that wasn't. They've announced stuff before.
Yeah.
Parentheses Epcot overhaul.
Yes.
And that hadn't happened, but I imagine if he walks out and says the term, "This is not blue sky,"
yeah,
then maybe they're actually,
So time will tell. Obviously,
time will tell,
and a lot of wounds will be healed, I think, over time once things start taking their shape again. No matter how far along maybe in development they are, this is all rough draft, and it will evolve and it will.
He says Earth is moving, not much.
Yeah, but not a whole lot.
There's not many shovels in the ground.
That's
there
right.
may be one or
That's
two,
right.
maybe like 5, but not many.
So a lot of this will come sooner rather than later. But for now, this is where we're going to leave it. We're going to leave our list here, and we will end this one at this point. So Thank Jack for joining me. Jack, thanks for being on, my guy.
Thanks, Lightning Lane.
Appreciate you a lot, man. Hey, if you would, whether you're watching this on YouTube, that's right, we're dropping this one on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you are listening to us on your podcast platform, please make sure to like, subscribe, share with your friends. We would love to continue to grow our Wayfinder community. And if you would also make sure to follow us on Instagram at Disney My Way Podcast. We'd love to interact with you, hear your thoughts on these D23 announcements. But until next time, we hope you guys have a magical rest of your day. And we'll talk to you again real soon.